Thank you everyone for being here tonight. I will open the meeting at 7:01 and we'll begin by acknowledging country, and I would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and their elders past, present and always. And just reminder to people that we are live streaming tonight. There's no need to record, as this will be a record and will stay on YouTube, I believe, forever. So there's no need to record. So thanks very much, everybody. We'll move now to record of attendance, apologies and leave of absence. We have a leave of absence previously given to Councillor Busby. And we have a full contingent of councillors apart from Councillor Busby, so thank you for being here. And we have executive directors and of course our CEO with us tonight. Thank you. Advice of response to previous public questions taken on notice. We don't have any tonight. Public question time. We do have public here in the gallery tonight, so I will ask if anyone has a question to ask. If you could step forward to the microphone, give your name and address, and then please ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Ian Hart. It's 37 Namolgi Street. Did you hear my name? Yeah. It's really a question about the security rebate. I don't know its correct name. It's less than 4 months into the financial year and the money has already been allocated totally for people, so it's a bit disappointing for those looking for a new security screen door or cameras, etc. So my query would be, can that amount that's available in that rebate be increased for the pensioners in the community, etc.?
Thank you very much for that question, and we'll take that on notice and definitely be considering that for our budget review. So we do note the very fast take-up of that particular program, as I guess giving away free money is always extremely popular. So thank you for the question. If there are any further questions from members of the public, please come to the microphone. If not, thank you. I'll close public question time and move on to applications for leave of absence. I do have one here from Councillor Jibby Joy, who has requested a leave of absence from the 20th of January 2025 to the 8th of March 2025. Could I have someone move that we accept that? Thank you very much. Councillor Hetherington has moved that we accept that leave of absence. Is there anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried. That takes us now to petitions. Do we have any petitions for presentation tonight?
Yes, we do. I have a petition, a conforming petition on behalf of the Bedfordale Residents Association, the prayer of which reads, "We, the undersigned, respectfully request that Council investigate alternate locations for the construction of the communication tower away from homes, the community centre and playgrounds. The residents have concerns in regard to health, loss of investment, proximity to playground used by children, proximity to community hall used by the entire community, city view at the community hall, impact on the environment of its natural flora and fauna, and position relevant to Settlers Common." Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I have someone move receipt of that petition, please? Councillor Sargison, thank you very much. Sorry, Councillor Stoneham, I should have asked for you to move receipt of that. And I will ask, with your indulgence, Councillor Sargison, that Councillor Stoneham presents us and moves that we accept that petition.
So moved.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stoneham. Thanks, Councillor Sargison. Is there anyone opposed to us receiving that petition? No one's opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Confirmation of minutes. Could I have someone move that the minutes attached to this agenda represent a true and correct record of the council meeting held on the 14th of October? Oh, gosh, Councillor Burke, thank you very much. Councillor Burke has moved. Is there anyone opposed? If not, thank you, that's carried. Announcements by the person presiding without discussion. Councillors, you have those on your desk as usual, and if you've had a chance to read them, you'll notice that the CEO and I have been meeting with candidates for the upcoming state and federal elections, and presenting the city's advocacy positions. It's extremely important to inform all parties and all candidates of our priorities in the upcoming elections. So I have, and the CEO has been talking about Central Park multiple times, and also the R, which is the Armidale Recreation Reserve out in just beyond Armidale there, on Armidale Road. So we have been doing a lot of work in that space, and we are getting a fairly good hearing from all of the candidates, all nodding and saying the right things. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get some traction when the election commitments come to be given a bit later. That's that one. So moving forward to 9, questions by members of which due notice has been given without discussion. There aren't any. Takes us through to 10, reports. So if we can move through to the start of our agenda, which is the Development Services Committee meeting. Is the Chair prepared that we move receipt of those minutes?
Yes, subject to any corrections, of which I have none.
Thank you. Councillor Willinga has moved receipt of those minutes. Is there anyone opposed? If not, thank you, that's carried. Takes us through to the first item, which begins on page 8, 1.1, Gwyn Park Pavilion redevelopment, with the recommendation coming on page 12. Then we have the Executive Director of Development Services report. Chair, are you prepared to move those items, including the Executive Director's report?
So moved.
Thank you. Chair has moved. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Takes us through to the Corporate Services Committee meeting held on the 22nd of October. Is the Chair prepared to move receipt of those minutes?
Yes, I am, subject to any corrections, and I do have a couple to start, if I could. First one being on page 49. We list at point 6 we need to add opposed by Councillor Hancock to that particular motion. And the second one being on page 59, we wanted to just add subject to a slight amendment as distributed in a memo to councillors after this committee meeting. I'm not sure if we've got something we can show on screen for that. Yeah, it's about the date, if that's...
Through the Chair, that is not a correction to the minutes. It will
Okay.
need to be a correction to the motion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we'll need to do that when we get to there. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. And that is all the corrections I had.
Thank you. And I do have just an administrative correction or an addition that we need to add page numbers between, I think it was page 66 to 69. Don't have page numbers, so that's helpful. Thank you. With those corrections, we'll move into the report itself, which begins on page 20, 1.1, list of accounts paid August 2024, with the recommendation coming on page 22. Page 23, 1.2, statement of financial activity, August 2024. with the recommendation coming on page 28. This does require an absolute majority, so I'll ask the Chair to move.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. If there's no one opposed, that is carried and we have reached an absolute majority. If we move now to page 29, 2.1, proposed amendments to procurement policy, with the recommendation coming on page 35. Page 36, 2.2, calendar of council and committee meetings for 2025. With the recommendation coming on page 41. Page 42.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
Councillor Mosey, you've got that change.
Yes, please. So
To be
it
noted.
should be showing now on your screens. So yes, we'd like to move that recommendation subject to the slight change to dates as shown now on the screen, and I think it actually is now shown on the actual agenda as well.
Thank you, Councillor Mosey. We will. So Councillor Mosey has moved that change, which is a change from the committee meeting minutes. So is there anyone opposed? No one's opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Page 42, 2.3, review of Western Australian local government advocacy positions, local government elections. And the recommendation starts on page 48. Councillor Hancock.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move an alternative motion, please. I'd like to move the officer's original recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Hancock. Councillor Hancock would like to move the original officer's recommendation based on our positions previously. Is there anyone opposed?
I oppose the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Peter has opposed. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Silva. Councillor Hancock, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so I'd like to, I guess, just briefly reiterate some of the comments that I made last week regarding this recommendation from the administration. I'll start with point 3, which is about preferential, first past the post or preferential voting. The administration suggested we advocate for first past the post for very small, non-compulsory local government elections. I think it's really important to have first past the post as the method of voting. We see some pretty perverse outcomes in state and even federal elections with preferential voting. I feel like we perhaps dodged a bullet this time round, but who knows into the future. Look at the Council of Port Hedland at the moment. Not exactly making news for the very best reasons, and I think with preferential voting, any local government, including ourselves, could end up in that kind of situation, which would be quite upsetting, I think, for the vast majority of our ratepayers and for our fellow councillors. Secondly, I'm opposing the recommendation that was brought forward on the meeting last week by Councillor Peter for the method of adopting the mayor being by popular vote rather than by their fellow elected members. I'll note that both in state and federal government, the party elects or nominates the leader and endorses the leader, not the voters. This would be very similar to the arrangement that we used to have when we had the choice between popularly elected or elected by councillors. Also, in an area like Armidale, where we have quite a spectrum of advantage and disadvantage, I would like to see everyone having the same opportunity to run for mayor and council if they would like to. I don't want to see the office of mayor being essentially bankrolled by people with the biggest wallet. It should be based on the person's aspirations, views, values, rather than the size of their wallet and the number of core foods they can pop up around the place. So with that, I would request that my fellow councillors support the advocacy position that we took last year or the year before, or whenever we took it, when the state government first started making these changes, and be consistent in our signalling to the state government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hancock. Councillor Silva, you seconded. Would you like to speak?
Not for too long. I believe Councillor Hancock did describe some very good points. My biggest point being for the popularly elected mayor is that somebody could come in with absolutely no local government experience. They don't know the landscapes, have no relationships within Wowga, and in particular they wouldn't have the knowledge to help new councillors, which is a really important role. They also represent us, so I would like to be represented by somebody who has the knowledge and the experience and has done their due as a councillor. It's worked before. It worked when I come on council 9 years ago with Mayor Henry Salones. It was fine. There has never been an issue with the City of Armidale. It worked well for us. I don't see the point of changing. I was really concerned in the last election that we could have ended up with a mayor that had no experience at all representing me in big forums, with big players, federal members, state members. So I think that's an important point to add also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Silva. Councillor Peter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am currently opposing the motion on the table, and the current motion failed. I like to move the committee recommendation as it is. Madam Chair, I need to make a clarity. As per the report, the mayor election, this council current status is support popular elected mayor. Last year in November, we take a decision to support popular elected mayor, not the other way. In 2021, we adopt a policy that is not supporting popular elected mayor, but the recent council decision is to support popular elected mayor. So that is the, I just make a clarity on the subject. Madam Chair, I want to talk more about the item number 6, the popular elected mayor. I believe, Madam Chair, it will give more accountability to the mayor or the president who is elected by popular elected system. Because we experience, Madam Mayor, maybe you also experience, you are getting email from the entire city. People, they're complaining about their issues. So they come to know that the mayor is elected by all the people in the city, so they can contact the mayor and they can raise an issue. That's the one of the thing. And also the same way, the mayor is elected by the entire community, so the mayor will be responsible for the entire city and can avoid any partiality to the ward representation. So that is one of the main point I need to bring. And the state government already adopted the policy. All the Tier 1 and Tier 2 government, local government must do a popular elected mayor system. And also, Madam Chair, I need to bring in another point is the current system, we are having a 4-year term. That will give more stability to the local government. If you go back to the old system, every 2 years, the mayor will change. But as per the current system, we have a mayor who elected by popular elected system, have 4 years time. That will give a more sustainability and give a more adequate system to the council to take a decision and moving a good position to the city. And also, Madam Chair, I just need to make some comment from some councillors. The party in state and federal government, the party electing the leader, or the elected members is electing the leader. That is the point I need to make. If the council is going to elect the mayor, there is a very good chance to make a caucus in the council. So in order to avoid the caucus in the council, it's better to elect by a popular elected mayor. So the mayor is elected by the entire community. If elected by the councillors, there is a good chance. There is a good chance to make a caucus in the councillors, and that I believe that is not good for the council for the future run. And also there is another comment saying the people who have more money going to win the election. Now, I strongly believe the people's ability to understand the policy and procedure, and I am strongly support the democratic system. And I don't believe the money can make a decision. If that's the case, I don't think we have a good mayor at this point, because we know what is happening in the last few elections, not only in the city of Armadale, in entire WA. So I don't think money can make a role. It can, but I trust the residents who will take a good decision based on the mayor candidates, their proposal and their commitment to the committee, for the community. And also, Madam Chair, I just make a point that if we have a caucus in the council, that will affect the decision making. So in future run for the city, if it's a caucus in the council, within the councillors, that I believe that will destroy the future of the council. That is the main reason I am supporting a popular elected mayor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Peter. Is there anyone to speak for the motion? Anyone against? Oh, sorry, for? Yep. Thank you.
I would just like to reiterate what I said at the committee meeting the other night.
Councillor Camdar, could you turn your mic off, please? Thank you, because it's a bit confusing when there's multiple mics on and it won't record properly. Thanks.
Sorry, Councillor Stone. Just reiterating what I said at committee meeting the other night, that given the proposed bill amendment, the role of the mayor is going to change slightly, in that previously it was provides leadership and guidance to the community in the district, and the future amendment will say provides leadership and guidance to the council and council members, including guidance as to the role of the council and council members. So to have a popularly elected mayor, as Councillor Silva pointed out, who may have no zip nada experience of being on council, endeavouring to fulfil that role, as I said the other night, is a bit daft, in my opinion. So I think the mayor should be elected by the council itself. But also bear in mind that this particular recommendation is just stating an advocacy position. We're not in a position to actually make, this is where we think we should be going. We might not be able to have the choices that we're putting forward tonight if the bill comes through in a different form. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stoneham. Anyone to speak for the motion? Councillor Camdar?
Chair, I've got a question.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. Through the chair, my question is regarding the popularly elected mayor, that why can't we have the public consultation period so for us to decide whether we can have it or not?
Councillor, because at the moment the state government has mandated that we have a popularly elected mayor, or a mayor elected by the residents in the district or the electors in the district. So we don't have the choice.
So
Do you have another question?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I believe that council needs to submit the report by end of the year. So till then, my question was, why can't we have the public consultation and see like what people prefer, whether to have it the mayor, popularly mayor elected by council or by people. So people, we can have the poll and then people can decide whether, what's the poll ratio is.
Thank you. That might be that's a side issue. I think that we will need to address at a different point, and it's not part of this recommendation. So it might be a good idea but it's not part of this recommendation. So I think we'll just leave it there, and perhaps you could raise it later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do I have anyone to speak against the recommendation? For the recommendation? Councillor Mosey?
You don't want me to speak?
I'm just wondering what you... For the motion?
Yes, please. Firstly, I would like to actually read the point 6 and the one that we're asking for. It says, the advocacy position would be return to previous legislative provisions. All classes of local governments can decide by absolute majority the method for electing their mayor or president. So we're not actually even talking about direct election or elected by fellow council members. We're just talking give us the option is the advocacy position. So I just wanted to point that out. But certainly in terms of the that point again anyway, Councillor Peter said that we did take the position that we supported popular election, but I think we took that position, and I think that the report, while it didn't say it in so few words, we took that position very much with a gun to our head. Now, hopefully, in terms of advocating during this election cycle, to give us that choice again, without a gun to our head would, I think, make a lot more sense. And in terms of the stability that Councillor Peter talked about, I think you only have to look at the number of mayors that we had during that, when we had the council deciding the mayor, compared to now the ability for the public to realise actually all these promises that this person made with all this money that they threw at an election, they couldn't deliver on, so I'm turfing them out after 4 years. I think we're going to have far less stability under that method than the previous method, which you only have to go out there and look at the board and the number of mayors, the few number of mayors that clearly have worked for us for many, many years. So I am certainly supporting Councillor Hancock's alternative motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mosey. Is there anyone to speak against the motion?
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yep.
I just need a clarity on what is the current city's position for the popular mayor. What was the council decision on that?
I think that you already put that in your...
Yeah, so I just make a clarity from the chair.
You've already put that in your argument.
Yeah, that's correct. That is my
Sorry,
argument.
I think you might be trying to get me to add to the debate.
No, I just ask a clarity from the officers, from the chair, what is the current city's position?
Through you, Chair, that question is answered in the report, and the description of the context of that decision is also described in the report.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak for the recommendation, against the recommendation? Councillor Keogh, which are you speaking for? Against the recommendation?
Yes, against. Thank you, Chair. I'm in two minds about number 6, but because this motion is currently, as I understand it, wrapped up with all of them of 3 and 4, 2 and 6, I should say. 3 and 6, sorry. I very much think that we should have preferential voting. My mind being that it allows for a person's vote to live on should their first choice not. So I think that's beneficial for our voters, particularly when it is already the system for state and federal governments. It allows actually a greater sort of, I guess, certainty, or at least the majority of the people after somebody, where with first past the post, it's in many cases, the person that does get elected didn't have an actual majority of people supporting them. So for that reason, I'm opposed. But when it comes to the number 6, I'm happy to support that, but not both of them together as an omnibus recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Keogh. Is there anyone to speak who wants to speak either side now as debate? Councillor Sargison, are you speaking for or against?
Sorry. I support Councillor
For or against?
Peter. Actually, legislation is the minimum standard that we actually adhere to, and what was good for yesterday is not really good for today, and tomorrow is going to be different from today. So change is good. I think we should be having change, and I totally support what Councillor Peters is actually advocating for. I think it's a good way forward.
Thank you, councillors. If you could just one at a time with your microphones, because somebody just muted me. Thank you. Councillor Camdale, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through the chair, the only reason I'm speaking against the motion. The only reason I'm supporting the popularly elected mayor is because it will exclude the internal politics, and that's the reason I'm just supporting the motion. I mean, I'm against the motion at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I might just make a comment with all of this discussion about the election of the mayor. What we are actually voting for is an advocacy position, whether to give or not, an advocacy position to other local governments across the state to be able to, by absolute majority, choose the way that their mayor or president is elected. It's an advocacy position. We're not talking about what position we would like to take in that argument. So I would ask councillors to look at the actual what we are arguing about, and I appreciate the passion with which councillors feel about how the mayor should be elected. From my point of view, I get approximately the same amount of correspondence and communication from residents when I was previously elected by the council, and today, now that I have been elected by the ratepayers across the entire city of Armidale. So from my point of view, being in both positions, I can't see a great deal of difference between the communications or my role at the moment. What I can see, though, is that there's passion on either side of how one mayor or president is elected, but that's not for tonight, and that's not the decision that we're making. We are making the decision whether to advocate for ourselves and other local governments across the state to have the power to choose their own method. So just to bring it back to that, and with that closing comment, I will now hand back to Councillor Hancock.
Thank you for that reminder, Mayor. So Councillor Mosey, I guess, stole 2 out of my 3 points, but you articulated it very well, so thank you. But one of them I do just want to reiterate, following Councillor Peters' question of the mayor. I can obviously only speak for myself, but when we did take that position last year to support the reforms and the regulatory changes, I can say that I didn't want to. I felt like it was under duress. I'm sure that there were other councillors that felt that way, but obviously I can't speak on their behalf. So whilst, yes, we did recommend support, yes, I don't think that it was necessarily based on, everyone's free will. That aside, I guess I just want to quickly comment on voting blocks or caucuses, as Councillor Peter was saying. I think one of the most famous in WA recently is the City of Perth with the popular elected mayor a few years ago before the inquiry, where they could prove patterns of voting blocks. Obviously one example doesn't prove one way or the other, but it's obviously not a very good example, where I think here, there's definitely people that have similar views in our council and tend to vote similarly, but there's some people who I might not often vote alongside, and then sometimes I do. It's just, how it works sometimes. So with that, I'll close it up so we can, get on with our evening, and maybe we'll advocate one way or the other. Who knows?
Thank you very much, Councillor Hancock. I will put Councillor Hancock's recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? The motion is carried 8-6. Thank you very much for your passionate debate, everyone. And remember, these are just advocacy positions that will go forward and be put into the mix by WALGA. Thank you. Page 50, we have 3.1, business hours, 2024 to 2025, end of year holiday period. With the recommendation coming on page 53. Page 54, 3.2, Urban Forest Strategy Renewal, Community Engagement Plan. With and the recommendation is on page 59, and that is the amended version that was sent out to councillors of the Communication and Engagement Plan. So just to make sure that that has been clarified. 3.3, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, proposed fees and charges. That's on page 60, with the recommendation coming on page 69. We do require an absolute majority for this one as well, so I'll ask the Chair to move this item.
Yes, so moved, please.
Councillor Mosey has moved the item. Do I have anyone opposed? If no one's opposed, thank you, that's carried and an absolute majority has been achieved. Page 70, we've got 3.2, councillors' leave of absence referral item, and the recommendation comes on page 72. That brings us to the end of the report. Chair, are you prepared to move all the items that we haven't already dealt with?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you, that's carried. Takes us through to the Chief Executive Officer's report of the 28th of October 2024. We have two reports in there. 1.1, review of Building Act delegation. I will ask if someone is willing to move receipt of the CEO's report. Thank you. Councillor Peter has moved. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Now we move into the report itself, and we've got 1.1, review of Building Act delegation, with the recommendation on page 78. Could I have someone move that item, please? Councillor Hetherington, thank you very much. You're going to wave at me, I'm blind. Thank you. Councillor Hetherington has moved that item. Is there anyone opposed? No one opposed. Thank you. That's carried. Next item, we have 1.2, Councillors' Information Bulletin, issue number 17 of 2024. Thank you, Councillor Mosey. Councillor Mosey is moving that we receive that. Sorry, the recommendation that Council acknowledge receipt of issue number 17 of 2024. Thank you. If there's no one opposed, thank you. That's carried. Thank you, councillors. That takes us back to the beginning of the agenda, where we have motions of which previous notice have been given, and there aren't any. 12, urgent business approved by the person presiding or by decision. There isn't any. 13, matters for referral to standing committees without discussion. Is there any? No. Thank you. Matters requiring confidential consideration. We haven't got any tonight. Thank you, councillors. I will close the meeting at 7:40, and thank you everybody for your attendance.